It's time to vote your Thunder players into the 2014 NBA All-Star Game in New Orleans. Cast your vote through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or by using your mobile device. Visit thunder.nba.com for more information, and remember, fans, vote Thunder, vote often. And welcome back to Thunder Insiders. We welcome in Brian Davis and Nick Gallo. Well, of course, it's a new year, and I feel like always in the new year, we're talking about bettering ourselves. Whether it's a diet or exercise, you're always looking to improve on something. Well, we all know that the Thunder is always looking to improve on their defense, and namely their interior defense has been a lot better recently as they continue to get better protecting the paint. Nick, why is that? What's the biggest difference you've noticed?
No matter how you slice the statistics, inside the paint, inside the restricted area, just outside the restricted area, the Thunder ranks in the top 3 in field goal percentage defense, and it's because the team has rotated. It's been a part of its defensive shell. The 5-man unit has communicated, and the other thing is that they're going to continue to work together to try to get better and prevent those shots from even happening to begin with.
I want to isolate on the Houston game where Kendrick Perkins went up against Dwight Howard and held him to 4-13 shooting guys. If Perk can take a guy like Howard one-on-one in the low post, that leaves the perimeter defenders the chance to stay home. So you're not just shutting down the paint, you're shutting down the outside. You're really dictating to the opponent, you're going to play the way we want you to play. And the fact of the matter is that what that boils down to, when you've got both interior and perimeter covered, the opponent's going to be taking tough shots all night long.
And speaking of Kendrick Perkins, here's what he and head coach Scott Brooks have noticed about their improved interior defense and their focus on that side of the court.
I think we just locked in defensively. We're just hanging our hats on the defensive end. I think overall we playing well on the defensive end, trusting each other, having each other back. I think we just putting the focus to just play defense.
Give it up to McRoberts, challenged and blocked by Ibaka.
We like to get our guys over quickly so we can contest those shots. The thing that we want to continue to work on and build on throughout the season is prevent those shots from even taking place. Defensively, we've been playing at a high level all season long.
My thing is making them take contested twos outside the paint.
You'll take that shot from Dwight Howard every time. Perkins doing his work early.
Try to limit all the dunks and lay-ins and alley-oops and make them take contested shots.
Dominant defense by the Thunder here.
Every coach wants to limit those paint opportunities. Paint scores are troublesome for a lot of teams, and we're no different. We don't want teams to score around our basket. All of our bigs do a great job of challenging shots around the basket.
I think overall as a team, though, we're just starting to focus on the D end, and I think that's going to take care of itself.
Well, as we move from defense to offense, offensively, this team has had no trouble putting up some impressive numbers, particularly in that Houston game and their largest margin of victory so far this year. One of the things we've noticed is that in transition, they're seeming to get better spacing, BD. How have they been able to do that?
Well, Scott Brooks and his staff talk all the time about how it really comes down to so often what you do off the ball, the work that you do for each other. And in this case, when you watch the Thunder now get a chance in transition, you'll see the cornermen, the wings busting to the corner. Cephalosha here keeping the ball in the middle of the floor. And then he's got options when you go hard to the corner and spread the floor that way. You've got options all over the floor. Tabo, the spacing is there for him to finish the rim if he wants to, or he can drive and dish, and the Thunder has been doing that very effectively.
Sprinting to spots is key. It just helps with the whole total floor balance. The spacing is critical there. It puts guys in spots where they're comfortable, but also filling the lanes in transition. One of the best practice sets that people run is a 3-on-2, 2-on-1 fast break. It just gives guys a chance to run up the floor, get used to being in the fast break with one another. And it's a great opportunity to continue to learn how to fill those lanes in transition.
And I think both these subjects, guys, really, too, you cannot ignore the importance of communication. And the Thunder has done a much better job of communicating at both ends of the floor.
Well, on that theme of continuing to improve, one of the areas this team has wanted to improve this year was limiting their turnovers. They averaged 14 a game last last year. In the last several games, they haven't had more than 11, but we saw particularly in that Portland game, when they do turn over the ball more in the second half, it ultimately cost them a game. But this is an area that they've continued to improve on recently.
I think one of the things that you need to note, and Scott talks about this all the time, is that you're always, when you push the pace like Oklahoma City does, your turnover numbers are always going to be a little bit higher. But for this ball club, guys, 15 is sort of the magic number, and to your point, Leslie, they've been able to keep it below that for the last, really the better part of the last month.
If the Thunder can also minimize its live ball turnovers, those deadly ones that help teams get out into transition, that can be huge for this team. Reggie Jackson's been great over the past few games at making sure he keeps his turnovers low, but opposing teams do not want to play against this Thunder team in the half court, and so they're going to do anything they possibly can to push in transition, so limiting those turnovers is huge.
Well, and one thing Kevin Durant said, the reason that they have been better about it is because they just tried to simplify things, go for the simple play, not the home run play, which is hard to do when you're as talented as some of these players are.
That's a sign of maturity right there.
Absolutely.
I remember my first performing, I was 4 years old, and it was classic ballet recital, and I was wearing a yellow fancy tutu.